Biafra, superstars, media.
Fellow Biafrans listening of across the world, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you listen to the sound of my voice. I want to please plead with the President of USA, the President of USA, President Donald John Trump. I want to plead with you to please do what is right. Do not listen to your US envoy that you sent to Nigeria. He's speaking about the Islamization of Nigeria, and he's saying that Boko Haram and ISIS are killing more Muslims than Christians. With all due respect, Your Excellency, Mr. President, I want you to know that what your envoy is saying does not make sense. What is going on in Nigeria is Islamification, and in the process to Islamize Nigeria, what they are doing is coming true. Not just Boko Haram and ISIS. We are speaking about the Fulani killer headsmen, Lakurawa, and the rest of them. An array of terrorists in Nigeria killing the Christians, taking over their lands. IDP camps. Millions of people are now on IDP camps. All of them, 99.99% of them are Christians. So what is your envoy talking about? He's gone to meet President Tinubu and he was just, bamboozled by the lies told by the President of Nigeria. Today he's saying that he appreciates the efforts being put by the Nigerian government for the past few weeks. Mr. President Trump, what they are doing is doing a deal with the terrorists. They are entering a peace treaty, negotiating with terrorists. I want to believe the mantra is not to negotiate with terrorists. America won't do that in your own home soil. So why should such be condoned by your envoy? So President Trump, please, I'm pleading on you, hurry to the aid of the Christians in Nigeria. Hurry to the aid of the Biafrans. We the Biafrans, 99.99% of us are Christians, Jews, and traditional worshippers. We are not Muslims. We don't believe in Islam. But what is happening in our land today is a process of Islamization known as Islamification. Please, Mr. President, do not listen to your envoy. There is something strange, peculiar about Nigeria, that whoever goes to speak with the government of Nigeria comes out speaking a different language, comes out with a different perspective. So please, Mr. President, and listeners all across the world, as you hear what this man says here in this video, please, I want you to take it with a pinch of salt. What he's saying is rubbish and nonsense, absolute nonsense. Please, President Trump, we are pleading with you to please hurry to the aid of the Biafrans. We've been killed. Millions of us have been killed in Nigeria. And they will tell you the war has not ended. The Biafran war has not ended. Today, as we speak, two of our prominent leaders, in the name of Simon Ekpa and MUSLlMS, they are in custody. Something that was orchestrated by the Nigerian government. They went all the way to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. And for 5 years and counting, he's still in a solitary confinement in Nigeria. They went to Kenya to kidnap Nnamdi Kanu. The government of Nigeria went to Kenya to kidnap a Christian. The Islamic government of Nigeria went to Kenya to kidnap a Christian and brought him back to Nigeria through an extraordinary rendition. As we speak, Finland is now in bed with Nigeria. In a sense, our Prime Minister of Biafra, a man who supported you during your second tenure to, vie for the position, Biafrans came out and we vouched for you. We vouched for you as someone, a candidate that we believe in. Today, you are the President of America, but unfortunately, Finland, of all countries, colluded with Nigeria. And today, our Prime Minister, His Excellency, Mr. Simon Ekpa, is now incarcerated in Finland. 6 years they gave him, and they called him a terrorist. President Trump, we are calling upon you to please hurry to the aid of the Christians. The killing is enough. They've killed us enough. We are saying enough is enough. It's so funny when Israel and Hamas are having their own squabbles. The whole world, the whole youths come out and they carry the flag, shouting free Palestine and the rest of them. But now that Christians are being killed in Africa, in an area called Nigeria, Niger area, the Biafrans are being killed. Christians are being killed. Nobody's speaking about it. No one is speaking about it. Not even the envoy that you sent on a personal assignment. He was delegated to go to Nigeria and see for himself. But unfortunately, he went there and now he's speaking a different language. He's saying that Boko Haram and ISIS are killing more Muslims than Christians. With all due respect, that wasn't the assignment. That wasn't the complaint of the Christians. We are saying that the Islamic Caliphate are killing us. The Fulani killer headsmen, they have come to the land of Biafra. Strangers, they have come. And they are taking our lives. Christians are being killed. Christians are now being displaced in IDP camps. Not just Boko Haram and ISIS. Those are different, strands of terrorists that we have in Nigeria. So please, I implore you to listen to what your envoy said and please disregard it. Send somebody else who knows the truth, somebody who will stand for the truth, and somebody who will not be compromised. Please, send someone else to Nigeria on a fact-finding mission. And I assure you the outcome they will get, the result, the findings they will find in Nigeria will blow your mind. Christians are being killed, and Nigeria is in the process of being Islamized. That's the mission of a one-time jihadist known as Usman Dan Fodio. He came all the way from Arabia to Africa with the intention to create a caliphate in Africa. Until this day, the oligarchs of Nigeria, those that Britain told they were born to rule in Nigeria, they've been for long chasing this dream to establish an Islamic nation in Africa, and Nigeria being the heartbeat. At this point, I want you to please listen to your envoy, and what he said here will blow your mind. Very, very shocking and unfortunate that he's speaking this way. It is embarrassing to the Christians around the whole world. Listen, and I'll come back with a final analysis. Thank you.
There's a narrative coming from the US at the moment, disturbing to some people in Nigeria, and that's about religious persecution. That is not the position of the government, certainly. It's that of the Senator Cruz, I guess. And what is the position of US government regarding this?
This is certainly unfortunate. Of course, any incident, any loss of life is absolutely unfortunate. Those who know the terrain well know that terrorism has no color and no religion and no tribe. People of all religions and all tribes are dying as a result of terrorist acts. But it's very unfortunate. We even know that Boko Haram and ISIS are killing more Muslims than Christians. So people are suffering from all sorts of backgrounds. This is not specifically targeted about one group or the other. However, any loss of life is too many. One is too many, and we should work together in partnership to put an end to this. With regards to, there are other incidents that happen to be in the Middle Belt, for example, where farmers are located. Most of these farmers happen to be Christian, and some herdsmen are going through and they have these incidents. But we definitely, it's not something that we can say is specifically targeted about a specific group. However, we must work together to put an end to this. The Nigerian government and the President Tinubu's administration have recently taken additional measures and put more resources in those areas. And we've seen some improvements in recent weeks. We appreciate those measures, and we definitely look forward to more of those. And we look forward to ending these sorts of acts wherever they come from. And we know that Nigeria is a melting pot. Nigeria is a country in which all sorts of religious groups and other groups, ethnic and tribal and other groups are living together in harmony for centuries. And Nigerian population is split 50-50 probably between Christians and Muslims. So this has never been a serious religious issue and should not be. But we appreciate what President Tinubu has done, and we shall continue to work together to make sure it's taken care of.
Lies, 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 and lies. Lies, 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 and lies. That's the problem. All what is said here, I'll call it obiter dictum, out of point. Sir, with all due respect, your analysis are not accurate. They are not accurate. Now, let me pick you on this point. This is what you said based on what is happening in the Middle Belt. Let's hear it and then I'll pick you up on this point. Listen.
To put an end to this. With regards to, there are other incidents that happen to be in the Middle Belt, for example, where farmers are located. Most of these farmers happen to be Christian, and some herdsmen are going through and they have these incidents.
No. Herdsmen don't just go through their farms and have this incident, as you said it. That farmers happen to be Christians and the herdsmen, when they are going through, they have this incident. That's the lie being told by the Nigerian government. The so-called farmers and herders clash, where the farmers are there doing their farm and the herdsmen come through and they have this incident, this clash, as they call it. With all due respect, sir, that's not what is happening in the Middle Belt. Go on a fact-finding mission. Go to the heartbeat of Middle Belt. Go to Benue. Go to Plateau, and they'll tell you what's happening. What you say is different, with all due respect. What the government have told you is not what is happening there. What you have are farmers that have a land that the caliphate have seen that, okay, yes, they are doing their farming, but there's some resource in that land. They want it all. So what they are doing is to scare these farmers away. They come to their land, destroy the crops, kill them when you speak. And when you complain, the military don't come in, the police don't come to help you out. And when you try to put up a fight in the night, they come and destroy everyone, kill everyone in the community. And before you know it, those living in the community, they run away, scared for their life. They're in fear of their life. They run away. And then these same terrorists called herdsmen take over those communities, change the name of those communities, and start to live in those communities. If it's not of the government, how come foreigners, interlopers, headers, as you call them, will have the ability to change a community, the name of a community, the name of a street, the name of a village? Last time I checked, in the Western world, before you change the name of a street or whatever, you must have, the clearance, the documentation, the approval, the license to do such. But in Nigeria, the opposite is the case. They come, they kill, they decimate the environment, they bring fear, reign of terror, death, blood, sorrow, tears. People become fear of their life, they run away, they abscond from their community, and suddenly, thousands of herdsmen, strangers come into the community, start to live in that community, change the name of the community, and those who own the community are being transferred to the IDP camps. With all due respect, Mr. Envoy, I wonder what you went to do in Nigeria. It seems to me you just went to waste your time in Nigeria. It seems you went for a jamboree or holiday or something in Nigeria. For you to believe such a fallacious statement that the farmers are doing their farming and the herders. Lord have mercy. Sometimes things like this, they baffle me. Things like this baffle me. But let's continue. Listen.
But we definitely, it's not something that we can say is specifically targeted about a specific group. However, we must work together to put an end to this. The Nigerian government and the President Tinubu's administration have recently taken additional measures.
What are the additional measures they've taken? What has the President of Nigeria, President Tinubu, what additional measures have been taken? Or has he taken? You're talking about measures to come up with a peace truce. Now they're having a peace treaty with Nigerian terrorists. Now they have a new policy known as the cheese policy, something I nicknamed the cheese approach policy. CAP, the cheese approach policy, where they pay the terrorist, they fund the terrorist, and they feed the terrorist. I repeat, Mr. Envoy Man, in case you didn't hear me clearly. They have a cheese policy, which I nicknamed the cheese approach policy. And within the content of those policies, now what they do is they pay the terrorist every month. They are now in the payroll of the government every month. They feed the terrorist every day, and they fund the terrorist every month. That's why you saw those terrorists, when they came, they had their ammunitions with them. They are allowed to carry their weapons, do what they are doing, but with a promise not to kill the so-called Nigerian citizens. That's the deal. That's what they have on the table. Is it something worthwhile for America to say this is something good? Is it even encouraging to hear that Nigerian government, they're entering a peace deal with terrorists, they're negotiating with terrorists? Is that something that America will condone as a country? Not Trump. Not President Trump, a man I know will never accept such, nor tolerate such. So when you say for the past few weeks, what the Nigerian government have been doing, with all due respect, they have been entering peace deals, peace treaties with Fulani terrorists, Islamic jihadists. And they coined it the cheese policy. This was formed by the National Security Advisor of Nigeria, the one known as Nuru Ribadu. And within this policy, they agreed to feed the terrorists every day, to pay them salary every day, and to fund their activities every day. Sir, with all due respect, will America condone such? When the event of 9/11 happened, will America condone, or Americans, will they condone having a peace deal with Osama bin Laden? No. What you did was you went after them. Even when they left the shores of America, you went after them. We saw the video in Pakistan, how Osama bin Laden was taken down. There was no peace agreement, no peace treaty to pay them, feed them, and fund them. There was no cheese policy, cheese approach policy within Al-Qaeda and America, with all due respect. So why will you accept nor tolerate such? Why will you accept or tolerate such in Nigeria, where Christians are being killed? Why will such be tolerated? Let's take it back and hear what this man was commending the recent activities, the policies of Tinubu government of entering a peace deal with terrorists. I can't believe this. This can be the America I know. Listen.
In partnership to put an end to this. With regards to, there are other incidents that happen to be in the Middle Belt, for example, where farmers are located. Most of these farmers happen to be Christian, and some herdsmen are going through, and they have these incidents. But we definitely, it's not something that we can say is specifically targeted about a specific group. However, We must work together to put an end to this.
Listen.
The Nigerian government and the President Tinubu's administration have recently taken additional measures and put more resources in those areas, and we've seen some improvements.
Has recently taken additional measures to put more resources in those areas, and we have seen some improvements. The Tinubu government have taken some additional measures and put more resources. Resource means finance. The cheese policy. And America is condoning this. President Trump, you are somebody who stands for justice. I believe this kind of news might be a bit shocking to yourself, to the FBI, to the CIA, that an envoy who was sent on a delegation is speaking on this and recommending having a peace deal with terrorists. This is not the America I know, God's own country. This is something we will never tolerate in America. So please, Mr. President, my president, the president of the world, the number one citizen of the world, President Trump, please disregard what your envoy has brought to you. Whatever he has told you, please disregard it. Thank you and God bless.
Yeah, check me out. Superstars Media. Lord Lugard, Bloomington, Lord Lugard, and it's wild Flora show. 1914 amalgamation is what we dying for. 3 nations to 1 nation, ever since annihilation. Nepotism is nonsense. You and you, clap your hands. Biafra gonna come, clap your hands. Biafra, Oduduwa, we're free now. Freedom is gonna come, we're free now. Yeah.